Hello my lovelies, welcome back to another episode of the Cool Media TV, whereby I'm going to be teaching you in this tutorial how to customize the hero section of the ONEPRESS Lite theme that we've been working on in these past few videos. So if you haven't seen them, I'll put some descriptions in the link below and links so that you can kind of catch up, so they'll be below. And in this episode we are basically gonna just recap real quick and then crack on with the customization. So if you haven't already, please do follow me on social media. Okay, so do subscribe, click that bell to stay notified, and then you can stay updated as to when I release the next video in this little WordPress series that I'm doing. So we're going to dive on over to my left hand side monitor so that you guys can see what we're doing basically. So if you haven't already, just to recap, I've basically launched a second YouTube channel and sidearm to my business, which is called Point and Click Puzzle Games, and it's all about launching basically 2D adventure puzzle games in mobile apps, and I'm using this as a way of also teaching my kids in the future because they're just on the cusp of the right age to start learning some of this stuff. So this is my YouTube channel. It was up and running, but obviously if people wanted to find out about me, they were going to a website that didn't exist. So at the moment what we have got going on is we have this holding page, which I showed you how to do in a few videos ago, but let's face it, it's quite bland, quite boring, doesn't really do much. And apart from the fact that obviously our visitors aren't finding a half developed website, I thought we could pick this up a little bit and actually basically start building our website and do it slowly in more digestible pieces, and you guys can do the same too. So today's goal is that we remove this holding page and we're literally working with a very basic, very basic one-page website, which is where I have been teaching you the ONEPRESS theme, the Lite theme, the one that doesn't cost anything, and we're going to go as far down this path as we can before we have to upgrade the license, which I already own because I am an agency, but I want to make this as easy for you guys to do for yourselves as well. So without further ado, let me just minimize my Chrome and we're going to get rid of my channel. And this is I've explained in other videos, but this is my website also running the same theme. Okay, so what we're going to do is this is where we left the last video. So as you can see, we've got a logo, we've got a blue bar, there is absolutely no content, and I can't change this because we're using the free version. But if I was to pay, which I have done but I haven't implemented, the paid license for the ONEPRESS Plus theme, which I could basically then customize this footer, which I will do in a future tutorial because I haven't yet implemented the paid license. So our website, I'm on the dashboard, and we are going to come back down to appearance, themes, and ONEPRESS theme, and that's allowing us, as you can see, the hero section is enabled so that we could basically go and use some of its tools and customize it. And in the last video you would have seen that we was working a lot in this customizer style area of our admin website, and we'd gone to this section here, and inside settings I'd suddenly realized they'd added in this function to be able to hide the hero bar. So I'm gonna reveal it now. Okay, so this is our website. Now obviously this is the brand, this is the ONEPRESS demo content that we imported from about 3-4 videos ago. Again, all of the things that I'm mentioning, if you haven't already, they will be in links below on the description. Sorry, that's really bad placement of my little thing, but everything is going to be below. So I'm going to leave it called hero because that helps populate these little buttons which I demoed on my website, that these are the section navigations to help you sort of jump up and down. Obviously we've got no content, so there's not really anywhere that you can jump to, but we will leave this as it is, and we're going to leave this section called the hero because that's actually programmed how these buttons work. We could make this hero section full screen, so you can see there's a white bar and now it's huge. I don't particularly want to do that, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. That's up to you guys to basically play, I should imagine. We've got some padding which is invisible to the eye, but it's 10 pixels big, or 10% I should say at the moment. Now if you find that, like on my hero image here, you can see that I've got a nice sharp crisp line where my jumper meets the yellow border. That means I had to remove the padding, so all the content that we put in this hero section basically lives inside a kind of an invisible pillow or a buffer, shall we say, at the moment, which was 10% of the screen, and it's basically done on a calculation based on your monitor size. But I wanted a nice smart crisp line to where my jumper meets the yellow, so I removed all of the padding that is showing here. Flipping text animation, that's this text that's kind of flipping round at the moment. We will use that, but we're going to use a different style in a minute. That's how fast in milliseconds, so that's essentially 5 seconds to us regular humans and not computer talk. And we haven't got a slider going on, but essentially this is the speed and transition between these two background images changing. And yeah, you just tweak and play with those settings. Let's come, I'm going to publish because I want this section to stay, and then we're going to go back one step. And then we're going to go down to the next bit. Now this is your background media. So they've got two products here, and you can't see it, but there's actually a grey overlay to give them a kind of a darker feel so that the white text pops out on the page. So product number one is not this image, it's this image, okay? And this is where we basically put in the other image, which is going to change. There we go. So we can have two image backgrounds, okay? Now the parallax effect has been disabled. I'm just going to leave it as it is, but essentially that means when the foreground moves slowly and your background moves a lot faster, and it gives you that kind of nice effect visually for your users. But you can play, again, tweak as much as you want. So I'm going to leave that as it is, but I'm going to remove the second image completely. So I've only got the one box now. And I'm just going to replace this image. So I'm going to remove the image and then I'm going to add my own. Now I have no clue at the moment what I want to put there. Like I said to you, all I want to do right now is put a nicer holding page up than my actual plugin. This is doing the job, but let's face it, we've got this tool available to us in WordPress, so we might as well utilize it a little bit. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to quickly upload a background that I have already designed. And if you look at my thumbnail images on my YouTube channel, you'll notice this is kind of the same sort of colour that I'm going. And obviously my channel is aimed at kids technically, but it's also adults. So I wanted it bright and colourful and primary colours and all that kind of stuff. Always put the meta details in. So even though it's a background, point and click, puzzle, games, background, hero, bar. Right, copy, because you never know how it helps you with the SEO. That's a topic for another day, but it's good practice to do things as you mean to go on. And there we go. Now it looks a little bit dull because there's this forced overlay, and if I click on this, this is your RGB value. So RGB is obviously red, green and blue, which is three numbers. But if you look carefully, there's actually a fourth number after the last comma, which is 0.3. That's like an alpha, or for layman's terms, your transparency. And if we delete that completely, because I don't want any transparency, let's take the whole thing out actually. Or we've got the slider down here, by the way, I should have just pointed that out. Down in this very bottom left hand corner, okay, we've got this colour box. At the moment it's got now a black hexadecimal, but we've got this slider at the bottom which is this transparency. So we're going from a solid colour, which is 100, or we're going to 0, which is no transparency, no overlay colour at all. So we could take it halfway through, so that's 59, and you can see how it's, the colour still exists, but we've got this grey, or sorry, I should say at the moment it's black overlay. Now what we could do is we could change different colours and put this on here. It could be a red overlay. Oh, just horrid. And you could just put one solid colour if we wanted to. But I'm going to go with my, let's make it 0. I'm going to make it, let me go with the white button actually. There you go, and we'll make it 0. So I don't want anything interfering, and it is just as it is. Now it does mean that we need to change the colour of the text. That's fine, we can do that. So I'm going to come up here and publish. I just said to you at the moment, the only goal I have is to make this as simple as I can in order just to remove that temporary placeholder page. And then we're going to go to our content. Now, by default, this is the text that it's given us, the ONEPRESS light theme, and we can change all of this, and you can see the text here on the left hand side. And when I've clicked in this large text box, we get the ability to customize it down the bottom here. And if I move myself up out the way, what we've got on the right hand side is a visual tab and a text tab. We're in text, which is like the code version for writing, and if we look at this, we can see outside of any brackets we are, which is those two words there with the space, okay, and then inside we've got a little bit of text, or a code shall we say, basically saying open HTML tag for a span tag, and then we're going to close it here. So that's where the code starts and where the code ends. And we're going to give it this class. Now, ONEPRESS has kindly designed a little bit of an instruction called JS-rotating to give this text its rotating ability, okay? And then what we've got in between these pointy brackets is the words that are flipping. So we start off with ONEPRESS, then it changes to this one page. In a few seconds from now, it's going to change to responsive, and then if I keep talking, it will eventually turn to perfection. There we go. Okay, so let's just put myself back down here. So what we've got here is our ability to customize this. Now, if I just move this to the visual tab, we can see this in like human form a bit more, and we could test this. So we could put anything we want here. We could put, we are Angela, we are Bob, and you can just see how easy it is to, oh, Bobby, that's it, I can't even spell, it's too hot today in the UK. Right, I don't know, we could put Claire, and then we could put Tim, just random names that I've picked up, but you get the idea that this is how easy it is to customize this code. Now, as we go on down, we've got the rotating text color. All right, so we could change it to black, which is quite funky, and we can give it a background even, so we could put that and like a little yellow box around it, which is quite funky as well. And then what we've got here, this like kind of subtext, which is telling us what the whole website is about, is Latin text at the moment, just to populate something on the screen for us. But this is the small text, and if we click on this again, it's going to give us a very similar editable box down the bottom here. I've just realized I've just been on screen, so hopefully you guys can see this. So all I've done is scroll down. There's the Bob, Claire, Tim that I've just put in there, and the text colors that I've just shown you, and we've just clicked on this small text. So this is what my second YouTube channel and arm of my business is all about. And then we've got just these last two buttons, which are over here, that we can customize. Now we could, for example, I've got no pages or anything to jump to right now, so I could, for example, if you look down here, click on that, say, oh sorry, that's to open a new button in a new window, sorry, my bad. But if we took out this hyperlink there and empty it, that removes the second button because it's nowhere to link to. And then what we could do on this first button is go visit our YouTube channel. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now put the YouTube URL. So I happen to have already gone and got my YouTube channel URL, which is this bit, and then I've got a nice little cheat to help people subscribe, which I've just got on the end here. So I'm going to copy this and literally copy and paste this into my page here. And by the way, if you do want to find out a little bit more about that cheat, I actually have a YouTube video, surprise surprise, on this, which will be in the descriptions below. And then what we've got last of all is this primary. Now this primary button color is based on the fact that in one of the previous videos I chose the blue that you can see as being my primary color, but I could have chosen a secondary color. Let's have a look, see how that changes, which is kind of like an invisible white one. It could be a button style. There's lots of pre-designed, I don't like that at all. Let's have a look down here. That's kind of like a primary color, I think. Success, these might be pre-designed. Now I customize all of these, so they've tried to help you by giving some of these already. I'm just going to go back up to button primary, but in CSS code, which I will teach you in a future tutorial, I actually dive in and just take the button code and kind of rewrite my own style sheet, to be honest with you. So I'm going to leave that as it is right now. I'm going to hit publish. Obviously we don't want to say we are Claire, we are Tim, we are whatever, but I just want to show you where we are. Let's refresh the page. And this is now how our page is starting to come about. And again, as you can see, that's a lot more interesting to look at than this. So, and it's kind of nice and bright and colourful, which is obviously what my entire channel is all about. But we need to deal with this bit because I didn't know what to say here and whatnot, and could do with another graphic. So I am going to come back up to my hero content and I'm going to go to layout 2. Layout 2 is a bit like what I've got going on this page. This is my picture that I've put together and my blurb and my text with my call to action button. This is kind of where we're going to go right now, and all I'm going to do is I am going to, and as you can see, I've got to go and copy the paste and the text that we've just done on the first one. So I just thought I would show you these two different layouts. But we're going to start by changing this image. For now, I am literally just going to put my, let's put the 512 because we've already designed it. There we go. I'm just going to put that there. I think that's big enough, tells people what they're doing. I probably am going to customize this with a picture of me or something in due course, but I just want to get past this through to show you guys what everything is about. So this website is all about, in fact, actually, let's go and be cheeky. That's quite boring. Let's go and use layout 1's text, where we've got, oh, we are Bob, we are Angela. And I am going to go to the text. Let me just move myself, sorry, I do apologise. I'm going to come down here to where it says text so that I can actually copy the text and the code. So I'm just going to literally copy all of this, and I'm going to go back up here to layer 2, click on my text. This brings this box up, okay, and if I move this again, I'm still on the text screen here. Now I'm going to leave the button because we're going to customize the button in a second, but I'm going to just basically take out this H1 header, which is this big text. In fact, leaving the H1, I'm just going to bring my code in between those two, inside those H1 tags for the HTML, and I'm going to paste. So it's quite large, this text. So what I might do, this one here, is I am now going to leave this as H1. So let me just put the end H1. And I am, instead of putting that as H1, I'm going to call this H2 text. So H2, which is the next size down for the heading. And I'm going to finish it because there's that one there. I'm going to put that as a 2. So my opening and closing. And now you can see that I've now got a middle sized piece of header as well. I still don't like this, but it works for today. And then literally go back to layout 1. I'm going to grab my little spiel down here. Again, I always take the stuff from the text, copying it, going back up to layout 2. There we go. You can't really see it, so I've just gone back to layout 2, and I'm just going to change this text, this strange text here, and I'm going to put that. This is where I'm going to cheat, and this is where I'm going to show you a cheat. So I'm in Firefox. If I hit the F12 button on my keyboard, I'm going to bring up something called Firebug. And Firebug lets me investigate and look in the background of the bits of texts and images and all sorts on the screen. And I'm just going to click on the button so it shows me the button code. And I can see here now that the class that it's used is the button theme primary, button large, customize. I am going to cheat a little bit. This is where things like this, and this is really mild stuff, but this is essentially the difference between a designer and a developer, because designers will only just click what tools are available. Developers get their hands dirty and just hack code everywhere. Obviously this is really gentle stuff, but this is kind of the essential difference between why you would hire me or hire someone else. Now I'm just going to come down a couple of lines and paste this. Now if you inspect this code here, where it's saying button secondary outline, when we looked, it says here, our class here says button theme primary. I'm just going to copy this and change this name. That's all I'm going to do. And then because we don't need this anymore, I'm going to delete. Oh, in fact, actually we do need it because we've got to populate this button. So we're going to take inside here where the href is, and it's at the moment a hash symbol. We are going to copy inside the double quotes our path to our YouTube channel, and I'm going to just remove that little hashtag and paste that in there. And obviously we don't want to say get started. What we actually want is visit our YouTube channel, and again taking the text inside of the opening and closing link HTML tag, copy, and I'm just going to replace the get started, paste, and then we don't need any of this, so I can delete it. Right, so now we're kind of rocking and rolling. I'm going to publish, and that is just absolutely huge, but it's looking more like a nice holding page now than just what we had going on. Now I am in the next video going to instantly upgrade us, because at the moment I do want to leave this as a holding page that's working, and at the moment I can't because I've got this horrible copyright and it is my business. So I'm going to essentially upgrade this now sooner than I was initially intending to, but I just thought I'd point that out to you guys. So this is where we are at in today's video. So I hope that gives you an idea of how you can customize the hero bar. There's lots of different things that you can do. Don't forget, the only thing that we do need to do now inside our site, before I completely and utterly forget, is now to come out of here and turn off our holding page. So we can come back down to maintenance. I taught you in a few episodes ago how to put this maintenance plugin in place, but we can just turn it off in case we want to do some work and use it in the future. I've turned it off and I'm just going to save my change. So instead of now seeing this, if I refresh the page, it's all good. So we're looking at a much nicer holding page right now. So I'm going to leave this as it is for the moment, and in the next tutorial I am going to show us how we're going to change this copyright by installing the paid version of this theme. So that's it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Angela McCall. This was McCall Media TV, and I will see you on another episode real soon.